My name's Alyx. I work in the Jewish nonprofit space, and I'm a member of SVARA's Teshuva-Writing Collective. My relationship to SVARA has gone back a long way. And I met Laynie back in 2018 when I was a teen, and when I was moving through college, I was really blessed to be involved with SVARA professionally. At the same time, I applied to be on the Teshuva-Writing Collective, which was really my entry point into the work that SVARA does in a lot of ways. And so I served on the first Teshuva-Writing Collective, and then now I'm sitting on the second Teshuva-Writing Collective as well, which is really, really a blessing.
I'm Laynie. I am the Associate Rosh Yeshiva at SVARA, and I've been teaching at SVARA and learning with SVARA for the past 8 years. There was a retreat called the Fall Talmud Retreat before Queer Talmud Camp ever existed, where a group of about 10 people went to B'nai, our Rosh Yeshiva's house, and studied Talmud for the weekend. And that was my first foray into SVARA, and I haven't left since then. The Teshuva-Writing Collective is a group of trans scholars, teachers, writers, thinkers, people who are invested in creating and expressing core ideas, concepts about Jewish life and practice through the language of halacha that bring into being our trans experience.
When the Teshuva-Writing Collective started, trans halacha was really at a point where it had been growing and there had been more and more being written about trans people. But there was very little written by trans people and very little really written for trans people. And so what I wanted to do, and I think why I was really honored to participate, was to be part of a group of people and add my voice to a group of people who were saying that actually we are the ones who deserve and who can write about ourselves.
As I was reading the first round of Tshuvot, I honestly felt transformed from the time I started to the time I ended, and they've changed how I encounter halachic material from other people. I had a strong instinct that what we were doing was important. I thought we would get some really neat and creative answers to some questions that we were sitting with, and that it would be fun and engaging and exciting. What I think we did alongside that is offer a model for halacha that can feel eternally truthful because it is by and for the people that it's addressing. And I think that was a tremendous spiritual offering.
When I entered the Teshuva-Writing Collective, I always really believed that the work we were doing was essential and holy and inevitable. That trans people were only going to grow in our ability to be Torah scholars and write halacha and tell our truths. And the Teshuva-Writing Collective really demonstrated for me that the level of scholarship, the level of thought is really high. It's really diverse. It doesn't look like one kind of scholarship.
Reading the Tshuvot that people have authored from this collective has shaped my brain and my heart in so many different ways. The questions that people asked, the sources that they brought, the way they interact with those sources, the self that they brought to their Tshuvot, I think that's the material that has really shaped me the most and has inspired me in so many ways to question assumptions that I hold about what halachic process can and should be, about what counts as a halachic source or halachic material, and has really shown, I think, what can happen when we stop asking, are we allowed to be here? And when we invest in being here and responding to the questions that emerge when we're here.
Oftentimes, I think inclusion in Jewish communities and beyond looks like problem solving. What I see in SVARA's work, and really in the work of queer Jewish community overall and trans Jewish community overall, is an approach to inclusion that isn't trying to solve a problem, but trying to live a life that is authentically Jewish and trans and queer and all of the many other identities we hold. And so in the work of the Teshuva-Writing Collective, in the work that SVARA does, I see that reflected really in how we think and how we approach the work we do.
I imagine a Jewish future that is enriched by every single Jew's tremendous SVARA. And I really just dream of having the opportunity to learn and teach things that have nothing to do with transness, because there are so many trans scholars who have already proliferated so much Torah that the questions we're sitting with that are existential are over, and that we can delight in learning about how to build an Eruv together and what blessing we should make on some other newfangled technology that isn't about transition but is about some other profound reality.